Like a special Halloween edition of the play turned orange. It used to be blue. Hi, I'm Dave Morris. Thanks for clicking on the play. Coming up in today's edition, a fire chief once praised for his efforts has been fired in Kingfisher. Plus, why we won't be seeing those allergy reports at the peak of the fall allergy season. But first, the ongoing showdown at the nation's capital. The U.S. Senate has once again rejected the House of Representatives' proposal on a short-term spending plan to avoid a government shutdown and to fund Obamacare. Here to tell us about the headlines we can expect in the upcoming editions of the Oklahoman is Nick Chagakis from the Oklahoman's newsroom. And what is Chris Castile hearing in D.C.?
Chris is reporting that the two sides, the Democrats and Republicans, are about as entrenched in their positions. They are fully dug in. And although we do have till midnight for a chance to avert the government shutdown, all indications are that's not going to happen. They will not be able to reach an agreement here. The Senate, sent the House bill back today, and it looks like come midnight we're headed for a full federal government shutdown. And the last time this happened was 1995 under President Clinton. That was on a much smaller scale. The government had already passed several appropriation bills at that point, and so you saw limited things like museums and stuff that were shut down. This will be a much broader shutdown than we saw in 1995. That lasted 21 days, but a lot of people may not remember it because it didn't have a real significant impact. People are anticipating this could be a little bit of a bigger deal.
Let's talk about the impact and the impact on Oklahomans.
Yeah, our reporter Graham Brewer is working the phones today, trying to get in touch with some people in federal agencies, federal employees, to see how they're going to be affected. He spoke to a union representative from Tinker Air Force Base, and the indication are that, if this happens, which we believe it will, that you will see some people furloughed. You will see some people told, don't come into work today. We're going to have to do things a little differently until over in Washington they can, get it together and get it settled.
Our Chris Castile and our Graham Brewer will have coverage in upcoming editions of the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com. And we're hearing, as we move on, that out of Kingfisher, the fire chief has been fired.
Yeah, Randy Poindexter. And he, a couple years back, there was terrible flooding in Kingfisher. And he was actually honored for his role using involvement with a helicopter to pluck people out of the floodwaters and take them to safety. Several awards that he garnered because of his actions that day, I should say. And now we find out that he's been fired by the city council. We spoke to the city council to get an explanation, and they said it's a personnel matter. We're not going to disclose why we fired the chief. We spoke to the chief. He said, well, I can't really say anything now. I've hired an attorney, but I can tell you that I've done nothing wrong. So we'll see if this, maybe it goes to the court level. Maybe it just kind of fades away. But as it is, a once honored fire chief now out of a job in Kingfisher.
One other story to tell you about. Bad news for those who are suffering from allergies. No more allergy reports for about a month.
Yeah, the Oklahoma Allergy and Asthma Clinic, which is down, I think, at about Lincoln and 13th, if you're familiar with the Health Science Center down there, they're getting a new roof. And what had been on the roof was a machine that they used to measure pollen and mold counts. These counts that they would measure, they would share with the media. So when you would turn on your local newscast, and they would give you, pollen is high, mold is high. Well, you're not going to see that now for anywhere up to a month until the roof is fixed and they can get the measuring machine back up on the roof. You probably still get your grass and your trees. I think those are okay. Mm-hmm. But yeah, pollen and mold, you'll be kind of in the dark for the next month or so, maybe.
Interesting stuff. Mm-hmm. All right, full of the newspaper tomorrow will be full of these interesting stories. We're also going to have plenty of sports coverage. Press conferences were held today in Norman and Stillwater. Coaches Gundy and Stoops spoke to the media. And our sports team will be right here in the studio tomorrow morning to provide more insight, last weekend's games, and future games. Nick, thanks for your time today.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Again, these stories can be found in the Oklahoman and online at newsok.com.